Hey everybody, welcome back to Confidently Crypto, the show that helps you go from crypto curious to confident one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Professor Tanya Evans, author of Digital Money Demystified, founder of the Advantage Evans Academy, and your guide to the intersection of law, finance, and emerging tech. Now, if you've been riding with me for a while, you already know this show. And it's just not about charts or coins or headlines. It's about agency. It's about access and ownership and making sure that those historically left out of wealth building conversations are front and center in the future of finance. Today, the episode is a little different. It's personal. I've got a major announcement about what's next for me, for Confidently Crypto, and the work I've been building toward my entire professional life. We're talking legacy, leadership, and what it truly means to leap from what's safe to what's soul aligned. So if you've been feeling that nudge to pivot, if the shifting economy has you asking, what now? You're exactly where you're supposed to be. So let's get into it. Now, today's episode is deeply personal. It's about reinvention, bold moves, and answering the call of purpose over predictability. After nearly 2 decades in the legal academy and the last 5 transformative years at Penn State Dickinson Law, I've made a big decision and I'm sharing it with you. I'm stepping away from my tenured position. Gasp, swoon, not the good academic job or the good government job. Yes, roll with me. On June 30th, 2025, I'm officially closing the chapter on full-time academia, but this isn't a farewell to the law. It's a next level hello to what's always been calling me. I'm finally saying yes to the future I've been building in parallel, and I want to bring you with me. So why now? Well, here's the thing. I used to be someone who chose safe over soul every time. Structure over serendipity, incremental steps over exponential shifts. But what I've come to realize, especially as I look at how many of the ideas I've advocated for since entering the crypto law, policy, and education space back in 2017, all now becoming law and policy. And that is the exact moment I was made for. TLDR, I was built for this. And yes, the markets are soft, and soft is doing a lot of work in that sentence. There's fear, there's confusion, political uncertainty, like every minute of every day. But for those of us paying attention, especially for voices like mine, this isn't just a market moment, it's a mission moment. And the time to act is now. And we have an opening to build a better, fairer financial future. And the stories I hear, especially the ones left out of the mainstream narrative, inspire me to keep pushing, to keep working, to keep reaching, and to keep building. And that's why I refuse to let this moment be defined solely by crypto bros, scams, or volatility. I'm here to make sure the rest of us have a seat and a say at the table too. And more importantly, the tools, the knowledge, the community, and the resources to name, define, and control our own narratives and opportunities. Now, let's not forget the headlines making waves. It's been like, it's almost trite to say at this point, drinking, from a fire hose. It's like 10 fire hoses every minute of the day. The DOJ refocuses crypto enforcement efforts on individuals, moving away from, enforcement by prosecution. The SEC and the FDIC have issued clearer frameworks for banks and digital assets. The tokenized treasuries that I've talked about are growing 20 times faster than stablecoins. Coinbase and eToro are prepared to launch an IPO, but maybe waiting a bit until markets recalibrate. We shall see. The Treasury Department has lifted sanctions against Tornado Cash, which is a type of software used as what we call a coin mixer. Paul Atkins was confirmed as SEC chair last week. Hester Peirce is staffing up a crypto-focused task force. Trump's stablecoin airdrop plans The ethics of presidential crypto asset holdings are sparking debate across the political spectrum. Regulators are talking, lawyers are watching, builders are building, and I'm leaning into helping professionals and investors like you to make sense of it all. Now, in Digital Money Demystified, I shared how I started out like many of you, a curious outsider, or dare I say, naysayer. And because I didn't grow up in finance, I'm not a tech insider, but I had a lot of questions. I saw the disparities and I wanted to understand why the wealth gap persisted in such a tech forward age. And what I found in crypto and blockchain was more than innovation. I found an invitation. I found a way to reimagine access, agency, and ownership. Still, for a long time, I played it safe. I built my business in the margins of my academic life. I spoke, taught, consulted. I made an impact for sure, and all while maintaining the stability of, a well curated life. But there comes a moment when your purpose gets too loud to ignore. And for me, that moment, I'm moving from incremental change in the academy to exponential impact in the world. And the questions I'm fielding from listeners every week reinforce that this pivot matters. Tanya, how do you keep up with all the regulatory changes? How can I invest in crypto without getting wrecked? What should I know about stablecoins now that World Liberty Coin and Circle are making headlines? Is there still time to pivot my career into this space? The TLDR, yes, yes to all of it, but only if you prepare. Now, after almost 2 decades in the legal academy and 5 deeply rewarding years as a tenured professor at Penn State Dickinson Law and a co-hire at the Penn State Institute for Computational and Data Sciences, I'm stepping away as of June 30th and will officially retire from my tenured post and begin an exciting new chapter full-time at the intersection where I've spent almost the last decade passionately teaching, researching, and building at the intersection of intellectual property, my area of expertise, and new technologies, always at the leading edge of the future of law, fintech, and Web3. But of course, this is not goodbye to the legal profession. Lord knows I love me some students and I loved my practice before I started teaching. I practiced for 10 years before I even began to teach. But I really am so excited. This is a super bold move. It's a pivot forward into a space where I can make the greatest impact by educating, advising, and empowering professionals navigating the next digital transformation. So I'm thrilled to focus full time on 3 core pillars of my work. And I want to give you a little sneak peek for being my favorite listeners for sure. The first is executive and professional education. So through the Advantage Evans Academy, I will continue to offer high impact online courses, workshops, and live trainings tailored to lawyers, financial advisors, business leaders, and regulators eager to master blockchain, crypto assets, and Web3 law. And that includes my Web3 Ready Live webinar series, now in progress for Financial Literacy Month. Last week, I kicked off with Crypto Law in Flux on April 10th. And every Thursday in April, I'll have a new 1-hour session. This week, if you're listening to this podcast or watching on the week of April 14th, on April 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'll do a 1-hour presentation or webinar on crypto and estate planning in 2025 and beyond. The following Thursday will be trends and tactics to future-proof your practice or your profession. You register once at proftanyaevans.com for access to all 3 sessions, the replays, and resources like my Crypto Tax Tips Primer and session-specific worksheets. The next pillar is strategic consulting and advisory, legal advisory. I partner with companies, with DAOs, regulators, law firms, and professional associations to navigate the complex legal, regulatory, and intellectual property terrain of emerging tech. Whether it's policy development, tokenomics strategy, or legal risk mitigation. I help clients move from confusion to clarity and certainly compliance. And the third is speaking, thought leadership, advocacy. From Capitol Hill to corporate boardrooms, I remain committed to shaping the global discourse on digital innovation and economic justice. I'll continue to keynote international conferences, advise on policy, and contribute to thought leadership in mainstream and academic outlets alike. And if you're ready to become Web3 ready, I'm here for that too. Now, before I go, I have to shout out my Dean Danielle Conway, one of my favorite humans on the planet. Her visionary leadership and unwavering support make so much of my work at Dickinson Law possible. Dean Conway, thank you for believing in me. And to my colleagues, students, the entire academic community, your commitment to justice, especially for such a time as this, and innovation, continue to light the path. I carry you with me always, and I am carrying the torch. So here I am, jumping out of the nest, wings wide open. If you're standing at your own crossroads between safe choice and the soul aligned one, know that you're not alone. I can do it. You can do it too. So let's build what's next together. And if you're ready to grow, let's go. Visit proftanyaevans.com to connect, to sign up for Web3 Ready Live, to subscribe to my Substack, which will really be my content home going forward, and certainly share this episode with someone who's ready to pivot with purpose. Until next time, be good to yourself and others, and stay confidently crypto.